Yes. We already know that San Diego State is probably going to get a Pac 12 invite. We think SMU is going to get a Pac 12 invite. Is there anyone else? So let's look at this for a second. So, right now, the Pac 12 is probably at the bottom of what we consider to be the Power Five when we talk about college football. Washington was the last team to make the playoffs 6 years ago. Um, Basketball, no one has won a national title since 1997 when Arizona beat Kentucky in the national title game. Before that, you had UCLA win a title in 95, Ed O'Bannon, and then like you go all the way back. Most of the titles happened under John Wooden. So the Pac 12 has been in the bottom as far as the major sports go. Now, it is known as the League of Champions because they're good at the other sports, golf and swimming, so on and so forth, right? But we're talking about the sports that drive money, that generate income and profit. Pac 12 got some climbing to do. So I wanted to look at this. So we assume that those first two schools that I mentioned are going to be the first two in line to get a Pac 12 invite. Shall the Pac 12 get their stuff together? So I just wanted to do a little comparison here, right? So I was looking at this. So I picked, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different schools and markets to see where we stand. And I'm going to compare them to where the AAC stands, with the schools that they just added this year. So let's get this kicked off. So Las Vegas, UNLV, number 40 in market size. Pretty decent. When's the last time their basketball team made any noise? Remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, Tark the Shark, UNLV was a monster on the scene. That probably would have been a good time to add them, but then their football team, didn't do anything. Football drives the bus, as we know, so Vegas is now growing, obviously. So it makes sense to add a team from Vegas, but it made even more sense before the Raiders showed up, before the Knights showed up, before the Aces showed up. The Oakland A's potentially moving there next year. And then we assume that the NBA is going to move there. So a team like UNLV that already isn't that good falls to the back of the line because professional sports are taking over now. So take that for what it's worth. New Mexico playing in Albuquerque, the number 49 market. That's all I got to say. I like watching games at the pit, but that's all I got to say. It's New Mexico. Boise State, number 98. And what does Boise bring besides football? They've been dominating the Mountain West. They're the team of the Mountain West. We go back to 2007 or 8 with them with the upset over Oklahoma. So they have a lot of football memories, but with a school in a location such as Idaho, even though Idaho is the second or third growing state, most growing state, depending on what reports you read. So people are moving to Idaho, but is that going to turn into talent and having a recruiting edge or pull to choose from? Fresno State, number 53 in the market rankings. Don't need Fresno State. It's cool to have another California school, but I'm assuming that Stanford and Cal, or one of the two, maybe both, give you the market of whatever Fresno is going to bring. Fresno does have a proud football program. Basketball, they've made a few tournaments in recent years, but they don't move any needles. San Jose, the number 10 market. Now you're talking, but Stanford and Cal because it's mixed into the San Francisco market. So that's already spoken for. And San Jose State has been good the last couple of years in football, but I couldn't tell you the last time their basketball team was relevant. Colorado State, Denver, number 16, but that's already covered by the Buffaloes. So if the Buffaloes move to the Big 12, as has been rumored, can Colorado State bring that market enough to make it worth to the Pac 12? I say no, but you never know. Tulane, number 50, bringing New Orleans, maybe because you got LSU, that giant albatross in the way. But what helps Tulane is that they're an AAU member, so academically they make sense. So you always hear me talk about the Pac-12 institutions as academic snobs. So Tulane fits that. And oh, by the way, are they kicking themselves for leaving the SEC many moons ago? Rice over in Houston, the number 7 market. A lot of people that I've talked to recently, and maybe I just need to talk to smarter people. A lot of people didn't even know Rice was in Houston. So, whole nother story. But do any of those move the needle? Whereas when I look at the AAC's additions, Birmingham, the number 45 market, Charlotte, 21, Fort Lauderdale, 18, even though I would say that's controlled by the Miami Hurricanes, San Antonio, number 31, but we got 1.5 million people here, Houston, number 7, as I mentioned, and then North Texas, I would assume carries some of the Dallas market or is in the Dallas market for lack of better terms, the number 5 market. But at the AAC, you're losing SMU over to the Big or the Pac-12 potentially in this scenario. So I would argue that when you get to the point of looking at Rice and Tulane, your conference is dead. There's moves that could have been done years ago to have prevented the Pac-12 from this fate. But as we know, a lot of mismanagement, a lot of negligence. They can't even get the TV deal done right now. So if I was the Big 12, why not call Tulane if that's the case? Why not call, I wouldn't say SMU just because you got enough Texas teams already. Your headquarters is already in Texas, so you don't necessarily need that SMU market. Not that they bring very much. You're losing OU in Texas, so maybe, but San Diego State is definitely on my radar. You know, so is Boise? That's the question I want to leave you with to answer in the comments. Like, review, subscribe. Sports Reports is ordered. I'm 25. Is Boise worth it to the Pac 12? Let me know what you think. Enjoy your Sunday.